Hey guys, welcome back to another episode. My name's Chris and tonight I'm checking out this new movie called The Deep House, directed by Alexandre Bustillo, who you would know from the movie Inside and also Leatherface. And he's done a couple of other things, but I really enjoyed Inside when it came out, which is one of those new wave French horror movies. But this is a bit of a different movie. It's also a horror movie. So The Deep House is about these two YouTubers who do like these underwater exploration. They get taken to this remote lake in the French countryside and they dive down and find a house, and then some supernatural hijinks ensue. So, on the surface, it's a pretty interesting movie because it has a bit of a gimmick, but when you dive deeper into the movie, it starts to lose a bit here for me. It's an interesting movie, I'll say that, and the productions seems like it would be quite challenging, as about like 90% of the movie takes place underwater throughout this house, which is something you've never seen before. It's just, this movie is just a very standard ghost haunted house movie, except for the fact that it's underwater, and that's its gimmick. Does it add to it? Yes. In some ways, I think that aspect does add to what they're going for here. Unfortunately, the rest of the stuff is just, like I said, very generic, and then there's some very big negatives to this movie that really hinder it. But that gimmick is cool and probably the reason you should check this movie out. The best parts are these underwater things. It gives a new spin on some of these old horror tropes. You have a lot of this typical ghost stuff you get in movies, the tropey ghost things. However, because they're underwater, it just feels a little bit different. There's this impending nature because you know they're running out of air. And so that's a cool aspect because it ratchets up the tension a little bit. You're like, how are they gonna get out of this? Like, we need to keep moving. You can't, there's no lollygagging. Lollygagging? What is this, like 1920s? I don't even know what the fuck that means. But you know what I'm saying? It makes you feel in the back of your butthole a penetrating sense of, that's not it either, Jesus fucking Christ. Just put you on edge a little more, I guess is my point. It also keeps the visuals really interesting, seeing things like that are kind of out of place in this house that is underwater. Unfortunately though, Jack Jagger, is that the kid's name, is in this movie? Mick Jagger's son. Is it Jason Jagger? Jack Jagger? Jay Jagger? Something Jagger. Anyways, he's Mick Jagger's son. He's a pretty bad actor. Most of the acting in this movie, not so good, but also the writing of the dialogue, not very good either. And that like 90% of it is ADR because they're talking to each other while they're underwater wearing these scuba masks. So you never really see anybody talking. It just feels disjointed. And what these people say feels out of place. And the way these people react and act to situations is poor. Just comes off as like really illogical a lot of times. And I know this isn't the first ghost movie to be like, why the fuck did you do that, Timmy? You shouldn't have done that, Timmy. Get the fuck out of the house, Timmy. But it still doesn't make it any less frustrating. There's also moments where like they literally take the character, sit them down in front of a TV screen and explain backstory. Just like a big exposition shit right on your fucking face. Like that's just really crappy storytelling. Like the way that they literally have to force the character to sit and watch a movie about what they're experiencing seems really lazy to me. This should have been worked in throughout the entire narrative. We should have been uncovering the mystery as we go along and been able to piece it together. If it takes you sitting the characters down and be like, okay, so Johnny, this is what happened, and this is what happened, and this is what happened, and that's why this place is haunted. Get it? That's dumb. It's almost like they got excited about this gimmick, this idea of putting this typical ghost thing underwater, and then just kind of like shat out the quickest script they could that would go along and fit in this thing, which is unfortunate because the gimmick is cool. However, I hope it doesn't catch on. Like, I don't need everything to be underwater all of a sudden. That would just be weird. Another frustrating thing, again, typical of the genre, but there's no rules like set in place here, so it's like supernatural things happen, and what does it actually mean? What is the actual danger here? How do you escape this danger? It's just nonsense because they never bother to establish the kind of universe we're living in, or how these supernatural beings are controlled or act, or their motivations, really. So in the end, it's like, I see a scary monster lady, but what does that mean? Is she gonna kill me? Can she kill me? Can I kill her? I don't know. And so it's just confusing as you're watching, and you're like, okay, I don't know if they're in danger. I guess they are. I don't know. It also feels a lot of times like a found footage movie, because a lot of it's from a first-person perspective, or from this drone they have, this underwater drone. And then, like I said at the beginning with the story elements, you have this whole aspect where they're YouTubers, and this guy is really trying to get a lot of views. What a fucking loser. But anyways, that is one of his motivations, to keep pressing on even though things are getting suspicious and weird and you probably shouldn't do that. It's not a good enough motivation for me. Once you start seeing like ghostly figures and like dead bodies and shit, like, you know what I mean? Like, just fucking go call the cops. I think there's a lot of negatives to this movie, but I'll come back to it. The gimmick, pretty fun. It's worth probably seeing once just for that aspect. So I'll give it props for that originality there. It's not even that original. It's just like, what if we did this and put it underwater? That's fucking good. It is, because it's hard to do, and they actually went and did it. So I'll grant them that. The Deep House, I think it's out in like November 4th or something. So check it out when it comes out. So anyways, that's gonna do it, guys. I will catch you here next time. Goodbye. Hey guys, it's Chris. I know some of you already have a heads up over the others because you've already liked the video and subscribed to the channel. To me, it's like a no-brainer. Like, why wouldn't you do that? So like the video, subscribe to the channel, helps us out. Catch you here later, guys. Goodbye.